Early morning. The Russians are moving in for an assault. More than 100 armored vehicles are involved in this attack. Ukrainians, having detected the column, began an artillery attack. But it's still on the move. The Russians are shooting chaotically in the direction of Ukrainian positions. Artillery uses cluster munitions, which is having an effect. The tank is destroyed. The surviving tanks and APCs are moving forward. This APC was sent first. Let's follow it. That's a Ukrainian artillery hit. The second shot is getting more accurate. The third tank is driving around them, hitting the mines. The Russian armored group moves on. Another column. One of the Russian soldiers fires into the air for some reason. To avoid becoming an easy target for artillery, they're shuttling both ways. There's a lot of them. They're clustered in a large group. These tanks lead the attack. As the drone approaches the field, we see a strip of mines. The first Russian tank is stopped. The second one drives around it and... Ukrainian artillery makes a massive attack on the stopped Russian column. And this looks like a HIMARS strike. While the Ukrainians were distracted by the first assault groups, this column managed to get as close as possible. Under the cover of the smoke, they're moving on. Part of the column is already in the field. They are under massive fire of Ukrainians. FU drones are monitoring the attack from different angles. The first tank goes first, clearing the way from the mines. Just one of these ATGM missiles will bring the Russians a lot of trouble. The Russians are attacking the AFU positions in this wooded area. A hit APC creates a traffic jam, which the Ukrainians take advantage of, and hit the neighboring armored personnel carriers. Nevertheless, the next APCs are moving on. Probably one of them explodes on a mine. Every second, the enemy's equipment is under attack. 2 hits on the APCs at once. One of them explodes. The Russians turn the column around and retreat. The stopped APCs detonate. That was epic, but I've got something else interesting for you. The rest of the column is moving away. The second wave of Russian armored vehicles are on their way to continue the attack. The tactic of attacking in waves could be effective, but not in today's realities. Russian tanks are again moving into the open field. An APC hits a mine. The tank tries to avoid it and explodes. The Ukrainians are using all possible means to hit the tanks. An FPV drone dives into the tank. Here's how it looks from another angle. The APC continues to drive forward. But the whole field is littered with mines. It hits one of them. The APC is destroyed. Another group. The mine barriers are working perfectly. The assault has been stopped. Several dozen Russian tanks and APCs were destroyed in this attack. These tanks and armored personnel carriers couldn't even cross the forest belt. One of the tanks was destroyed in the retreat. So was this APC. And now I want to show you this attack. Russian tanks moved out to reinforce the advancing group. There are 2 tanks and 3 APCs in the column. Ukrainians prepared a surprise for them. The tank hits mines. It manages to stop. The column starts to turn around. An APC backs up and hits a mine. That vehicle is attacked by an FPV drone. The surviving tank turns around and drives away. The enemy is not getting anywhere. It's a failure. The Russians have 2 APCs left. Will he be able to get past the mines? It was a mistake. And now this place is turning into a graveyard of Russian armored vehicles. The Russians are making a crazy move, which is to be expected. All armored vehicles destroyed. Russians are preparing for an assault. APCs with infantry and tanks are moving to the task. The first to go is a tank. They are already in the field. The tank attacks the positions of the AFU. A mine barrage interrupts the advance. The APCs are starting to move back. This footage clearly shows the mine line. Waiting for the next order, the column stops. The Ukrainians take advantage of this. They hit 2 more targets. The retreat isn't going according to the Russians' plan either. The attack ends with a spectacular explosion. The assault has failed. A column of 3 APCs and a tank is considered an armored group. The 3rd APC in the column is attacked. The column does not stop. The tanks are moving on. They can't accomplish their mission. So they attack the positions of the AFU and retreat. The assault failed. And this is the story of how the Russians lost 2 tanks and 2 APCs. The first loss happens even before the Russians enter the battle. And this is a Russian tank exploding on mines. But the Russians continue their offensive. The APC is actively firing towards the AFU positions. After suffering losses, they decide to retreat. The Russian tank is engulfed in flames and begins to detonate. The shells, one by one, are tearing the tank from the inside. While retreating, the tank explodes on the mines. The APC repeats the mistake. The Ukrainians attack the immobilized APC. and the tank stopped by mines detonates. Now pay attention to this attack. This assault will be remembered by the enemy for a long time. 2 APCs are storming Ukrainian positions. This APC is continuously firing at the Ukrainian armed forces, while the second one is advancing, and then the FPV drone arrives. It calms the Russian APC. Cluster munitions fall from the sky onto the enemy's heads. This APC is driving straight into the mines. The second Ukrainian drone is already in the sky. It's a good time to attack. The APC bursts into flames. The flames reach the ammunition. And the APC turns into a cloud of fire. Nothing remains of it. The Russians are moving in for the assault. Armor-clad tanks and APCs ride into battle. Ukrainian FPV drones attack a column of enemy armored vehicles. This yields its results. The first APC is ignited after a grenade explosion. The drone attacks the second APC, abandoned by the Russians. The last 2 targets. Drone hits the APC. One more hit, attacking the last target.